Hello everyone and welcome back to Euro Football Daily for Transfer Review, the show where we put silly season under the microscope. Now, joining me this week again, lucky you all, we've got Sam Obasaki once more. He's taken time out of his busy schedule, live tweeting about Love Island and posing in the gym. It is tragic. He's finally back to focus on football. Sam, how are you, mate? You managed to get your head out of the island, as it were?
Bro, I don't understand your problem with Love Island. How can you tell me not to watch Love Island, but to watch a Midsummer's... What was it? Midsummer's Murder?
I'm not saying don't watch it. I'm saying no one cares about your opinion on it, Sam. No one cares.
They do, because people are engaging with the tweets, and I engage with the community that's on there or on Twitter. But enough of Love Island.
Honestly.
Yeah? Because we're here to talk about transfers that we think are good and that transfers that we think are bad in it. So stop that hate.
All right, fair enough. Well, listen, there's been some great transfers already this week. Seen Mario Götze go back to Eintracht Frankfurt. Minamino looks like he's on his way to Monaco. David Neres has gone to Benfica. Xhava has gone to RB Leipzig, which is a really good pickup from Wolfsburg, and a potential Konrad Laimer replacement who could be on his way to Bayern Munich. So all good transfers, all exciting. It's been such a good window so far, has to be said. And this week we're going to
some teams.
Yeah, exactly. And this week we're going to kick off with the news that Raheem Sterling Real Madrid are very interested in the English forward. Sam, tell us a bit more.
Yeah, according to The Guardian, they're weighing up a move for Raheem Sterling from Manchester City. Obviously, they missed out on Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland, and that right wing spot is a place that they definitely need to improve. Mainly this season, they've had Rodrygo and Valverde filling in at that spot. But last season, Rodrygo's numbers, even though he had a few good games, his numbers weren't that great. He scored 4 in La Liga, but 5 in the Champions League, including a crucial double against Manchester City. So that obviously makes it look a whole lot better. The volley against Chelsea only averages just above 2 shots per 90, so can probably be, upgraded, and he's still quite young. So I think having a player like Sterling coming into that position that has the pedigree and the experience that he has will definitely be an improvement in that position. Real Madrid's president Florentino Perez has implied that they're not going to sign any players until they sell a few, because obviously they brought in Tchouaméni, who's cost them 100 million euros, and they brought in Rudiger, who they had to pay a signing on fee to. So the Sterling move could happen later down the line. The English forward is set to be contemplating his place at Manchester City. I think it's one of those ones where, even though he has, everyone at City and even just generic fans are big admirers of Sterling, I think he wants more of a prominent and dominant role in the team. Although we know how well and good Sterling has been for Manchester City and how many goals he scored, 100 plus for them in the Premier League. I think he just wants more game time, and obviously with the additions of Grealish, they've got Alvarez coming in, they've got Haaland. Maybe he's seeing his place in a little bit of threat. Do you know what I mean? Last season he only started 23 matches, but since he's been at Manchester City, he's only started more than 30 games in a single Premier League campaign twice for them since joining in 2015. So obviously 30 games does sound like a lot, but for a player like him that is used to being one of the main men, doesn't want to come off, is always contributing as well, City are willing to let him go because he's only got 1 more year left on his contract. So now is probably the best time that they can make money from him. Obviously, if we're going to go off of Sadio Mane's move to Bayern Munich, that was £35 million. Sterling is 3 years younger. He's scored more goals in the Premier Leagues, won more Premier Leagues as well. So if we're going off that metric, it might be a little bit more. We've seen that Chelsea are keen. Todd Bowley wants to sign him for around £35 million, but that bid was rejected. I think City want around £50 to £60 million, which is fair, but in my opinion, I've said it before, I think starting low and gradually moving up, you might be able to get yourself a bargain, but Real Madrid might be able to get him for less because, Real Madrid are just Real Madrid, and they're always able to get players at reduced prices. But where would you go if you were Raheem Sterling?
Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, I think the option to go to Real Madrid at this point in his career, I don't think he's got anything else to prove in the Premier League, certainly. And I do think it could be sort of a statement piece for him to go out to the Bernabeu and perform there. And I really do agree. I think he'd be an upgrade on Rodrygo on the right-hand side. He can obviously go left as well. So it just really flesh out that Real Madrid attack. And, rumours that they're going to bring in Haaland in a few years once his big release clause is activated. Maybe Mbappe will arrive one day. In the meantime, I think for £45 million, whatever he might cost, Madrid, if they're genuinely interested, I think that would be a really good move. However, I should say he's not the only option that Real Madrid could look at, because they have been linked with Bayern Munich's Serge Gnabry, haven't they? I mean, it's pretty like for like, these two, aren't they? I mean, the German's only 7 months younger than Sterling. 1 year remaining on his deal with Die Roten, and rumours that he's just turned down a €19 million a year contract. He's unhappy. Apparently, he wanted to be sort of prioritised in the contract negotiations, but they were going to people like Joshua Kimmich first, so he's a bit upset about that. But I think he's just looking for a new challenge, really, after being pretty dominant, it must be said, for Bayern Munich. He's been excellent since he sort of made that permanent move.
And he won it all. He's won it all while being there. So I guess looking for a new challenge isn't like the worst thing for him.
Absolutely. I agree. It's a bit like the Mane situation going to Bayern Munich. And, Bild have said that the starting price for him could be €40 million, which for context, about £35 million. So he would be roughly in the same ballpark as Sterling. And yeah, so let's run through the numbers on this one, because Sterling, he since 2018, because I decided to put it down from when they both sort of started really featuring at the top level together. Since 2018, Sterling has scored 87 for City in all competitions, including 17 last campaign. He runs at 2.3 shots per 90 and scores with about 1 in every 5 efforts on goal. Gnabry, he scored 63 for Bayern in all competitions in that period, but also netted 17 last term. 2.8 shots, also scoring 1 in 5 efforts on goal. I think Gnabry's got a bit more of a penchant for a stunning shot, long distance. I mean, his average shot distance is 16.1 yards to Sterling's 13.8. I think we associate Sterling as being a bit more of a predator in the box, getting on the end of crosses and sort of finishing moves off. Whereas Gnabry, I think he's got that ability just to pick up the ball, drive left, drive right, and unleash a pretty stunning shot. I mean, we've seen some amazing goals from Gnabry over the year. Sterling too, must be said. But yeah, Gnabry, 2.6 dribbles to Sterling's 2, 4.4 shot creating actions to Sterling's 3.8. But they both got 5 assists in the league last year, so Gnabry might be creating more. But it looks like Sterling is actually a bit more clinical when it comes to sort of making that final pass or getting the ball in the back of the net. Marca recently said that Los Blancos aren't interested in Gnabry as yet, but once players like Luka Jovic and Marco Asensio are sold, which is what they're trying to do, then I wouldn't be shocked at all if their plans changed come the end of the window. This isn't an urgent transfer they need to wait. I think they can sleep on both of these moves. But yeah, it will be fascinating to see who they choose for. I mean, Sam, I'll throw to you quickly. If you had to choose between Gnabry and Sterling, who are you picking?
I'm gonna have to pick Sterling. Overall, I think Sterling's one of the most underappreciated and underrated wingers in world football. I only see a few people really talking about how good he has been since he stepped onto the scene. We saw the amount of goals that he scored for Liverpool under Brendan Rodgers, and then he came to Manchester City. People were saying, will he be able to fit in Pep Guardiola's system? Is he going to be the one that's going to be, shipped out in one of the transfer windows? And then he's been I think he scored the most goals under Pep Guardiola. So he's proven everyone wrong there. And now people are talking about the links with him at Chelsea. Is he going to fit into the system? Will he even start Real Madrid? It's put respect on his name, bro. This guy has scored 100+ goals in the Premier League. He's proven season on season. I think in the last 5 years, he's scored over 10 goals in every campaign. Bro, rate him. Just rate him. That's all I think. And I think Gnabry, I love Gnabry. I think he's a quality player. But at the same time, I think Sterling just gives more. Sterling gives more, and he's proven that he can fit into multiple different systems across the front line as well. So yeah, I'm going Raheem Sterling, man. Yeah, completely agree. Bigger name. I think he would fit the Madrid profile a bit better. And I really hope this move goes for him if that's what he wants to. All right, let us know at home who you would sign if you were Real Madrid, Gnabry or Sterling. Or would you just keep Rodrygo and Valverde? Let us know in the comments down below. We'll move on to the transfer we're less sure about this week. So moving on to a transfer we don't like, but before we tell you who it is, make sure you like and subscribe to never miss a video. Henry, this one, again, it's not necessarily a transfer that we don't like, because I'm happy for the player if it happens, but at the same time, in regards to minutes and if he fits, I don't really know. But yeah, let them know who it is. It's Kalvin Phillips to City. This isn't a news story as such, but there's been a few developments
around it all. As we know, Kalvin Phillips is one of City's main priority signings after Haaland this summer, along with Brighton's Marc Cucurella, which I think could be a really fun addition on that left flank. But The Athletic are now saying that an offer for the 26-year-old is imminent. Guardiola, huge admirer of him. They're hoping to try and get him for around £50 million. Though apparently, according to the Yorkshire Evening Post, got a bit of a scoop on this one. Apparently PSG is sniffing around as well. Luis Campos trying to make some left field signings now. He's in sort of calling the shots over in Paris. And well, to be honest, you can see why a player like Phillips would be interesting. A team like Manchester City, obviously, what was he? The 2021 England Player of the Year was pretty excellent during our Euros campaign. And his defensive numbers are stonking. Massive. He attempts 28 pressures per 90. That's among the top 2% of midfielders in Europe's Big Five leagues. 5.5 tackles and interceptions per 90, 2.4 blocks and 1.7 clearances. He really is the anchor of that Leeds midfield, isn't he? Dictating play. We know all about his passing game too. He completes on average 9 long balls per 90. That's also among the top 10% of midfielders, and 4.4 passes into the penalty area as well. We've seen him just spraying the ball left and right. I think, he's a very attractive player, Kalvin Phillips, and deserves an opportunity to kind of show what he can do at a tougher level, in my opinion. He isn't the most productive in the final third, just 2 goals and 2 assists in the Premier League in the past 2 campaigns, but that's not necessarily his job, is it? And it looks like Leeds are actually preparing for the eventuality of him moving on, with Sky Sports confirming that they're set to open talks with RB Leipzig's Tyler Adams. Now, just a brief lowdown on who he is. He's a 23-year-old American. He's actually played 71 times under Jesse Marsch at New York Red Bulls and RB Leipzig, scoring 3 and posting 7 assists. Very solid player. He's got good defensive numbers, 22.5 pressures, 3.6 tackles and interceptions per 90, 2.5 blocks. So he's not like for like by any means of the imagination, but I definitely think he could do a job. And it looks like they've already supplemented that midfield too, with Marc Roca, €12 million signed from Bayern Munich. I love this addition, really adding a bit more steel to that midfield. However, like you, Sam, I worry about this move for Phillips. I just don't think, as great as he is, I just don't think he's going to get the minutes he wants at City. And I think it's all well and good earning a big pay packet. It's all well and good being part of these squads. But unless you really feel like you're contributing, I'm not sure necessarily this is the greatest step for him right now. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I think a lot of people's concerned that support Phillips, and like you said, we're admirers of Phillips and what he's done for Leeds and England as well. But I think he's almost going down the route of Nathan Ake, because the time that Nathan Ake went to Manchester City, he was a quality player. You could see what he could bring to the team, but he's not really getting minutes. And of course, we know that signing Phillips, he's going to add to their homegrown quota. But at the same time, for his personal career, I'm not really sure if this is the right step to make. We've seen Rodri, even when he came into City, he was trying to displace Fernandinho, and I think he's only successfully done that for the last 2 seasons. He's really come into his own. So I think at 26 years old, trying to displace a Rodri who is now a key figure in their team. I think he was probably one of their best performers last season. It's going to be very difficult to do so. Rodri controls the way City plays from the base of midfield. He has 92.7 pass accuracy, attempts 87 passes per game, 6.3 progressive carries per 92. Like he's literally the core of the team. What we saw Fernandinho doing last 4 or 5 years ago. Now, that's why I think Pep's even okay with Fernandinho hanging up his boots and saying that he's not going to carry on, because he knows Rodri can be that player and he's very consistent. Phillips defensively has better numbers than Rodri, but with Manchester City, they're not necessarily defending for the majority of the game. No. They're keeping possession, they're holding the ball, they're trying to be on the front foot most of the time. Rodri's still posting 3.7 tackles and interceptions, 1.4 blocks per 90, also winning 2.7 aerial duels. The 26-year-old also scored 7 goals and assisted 2 last season, and he scored a very important goal in their last game of the season, a goal that puts you into the folklore and history of a team. So yeah. I'm sure that Man City fans are going to be not. I don't think they're going to be worried with these rumours, because they know that what Rodri brings. But at the same time, I think this type of signing, it's like, is it needed? Is that type of is this type of signing meaning that Pep wants to play a different style? Maybe he wants to double pivot instead. Maybe he wants to, switch it up a little bit. We saw how he changed during that those COVID seasons, and how he tried to change the way that City pressed and the way they retained the ball. So maybe that's the reason. But if they are to change, the only way I can see this happening is if Barcelona are able to get Bernardo Silva. But we have seen that City have said it's 100 million minimum. So the state of Barcelona finances and the fact that they're not even able to sign players that they've already agreed contracts with, I don't necessarily see that move happening. So this, I don't know. I don't actually see this happening. But I guess for Phillips, this is only going to add to his pedigree and what people think of him, having the best team and the best managers after him. But do you think if he makes the move, it will be the right decision for his career? Because obviously he's already in the fold for England. He's already starter for England. He's playing every week. Last season was probably made him rethink his future because Leeds were in a scrap that he probably didn't want to be in. So what do you reckon? What would you do if you were Phillips?
It is tricky because teams like City and Liverpool do play on every front at the moment. I mean, Liverpool played in every available game to them last season or something ridiculous like that. So it's not as if he would just be always on the bench. Guardiola famously rotates his squad a lot, but I just can't see him really shifting out Rodri for sort of the dominant amount of minutes in that side. I don't think they go to the double pivot. I think we'll probably see Foden drop a bit deeper next season. Grealish maybe given a more of attacking role. Those two can kind of interchange between that left flank, can't they? So yeah, I'm fascinated to see what happens. But yeah, maybe Phillips can prove us wrong. Maybe he can go there and become the player that he probably believes he is. And I actually don't think PSG is the worst option for him. PSG have an ageing midfield. I think he's better than Danilo Pereira. Players like Idrissa Gueye, etc. I think they're all aging out rapidly. I actually think that would be quite an intriguing option. But his heart looks set on City. So yeah, this move is going to happen. I just, fingers crossed, we're not just watching endless clips of him on the bench in years gone by, because that is basically how it's going to be. But yeah, he does deserve a level up from Leeds. All right, let us know at home what you think. City fans, we want to hear from you. How optimistic are you about having Phillips in your squad? That's it for Transfer Review this week. Sam, my dear friend, what should our viewers go and check out right now?
Go to TikTok. I know a lot of people are on TikTok right now. Football Daily, we're releasing clips on there daily. Some of the stuff that you put into it, with some of the stuff that you put on YouTube, but also some of the other videos, some clips that we put through the social feeds as well. So yeah, go over TikTok, follow us on there, get involved in the comments. The comments are actually really funny. Henry, I've told you need to make an account and get involved. They're missing you on there. God. It's fun over there, isn't it? So yeah, head over to TikTok and Snapchat and get involved.
It is, yeah, I can feel it. It's definitely going to happen soon. I'm going to have to make a TikTok account. I feel sad, but yeah, it's just pressure. All right, thanks everyone at home. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, all of that. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.
See you later.